the truth. That cannot be utilized. If somebody might, Ernest and Young is not in Kenya. If somebody wrote that from Ernest and Young, I don't think Ernest and Young is in Kenya. It's in Britain. You're coming to improvise something that is used in the West. You know, what is the average income of the West?
The taxes did not start going high this year.
Drives a car. We are equal, all equal. It could be, the MPs are not paid like I am paid, but we are all equal. He could be driving the same car that I'm driving. He could be buying the same car that I'm buying. But are you going to improvise that in Kenya? The young people are suffering already. Why can't you think to reinvent something different? A lady that was here before talked about something that he had a point, but this is the point: tax cuts. Why can't we look at the new reinvention? Why can't we cut the taxes? She mentioned that Ireland has 12% corporate taxes. Can you imagine that? Australia has 30%. I can't imagine. I want to go and research on Ireland. I'm interested to know about Ireland because 12%, and somebody is busy increasing our indirect taxes. Why can't we look at government injecting more money to just spend more and, you know, entice the businesses to spend more? Therefore, you're collecting more taxes. If you entice the businesses to have more businesses, you're increasing the income where you can tax people. And then the same people, myself, if I had run a business, I'll go and buy the same bread you're trying to tax, the same salt you're trying to tax. Myself, if I'm employed, if you entice more businesses to inject more on the businesses, I will be there. I'll be bringing you the tax. But also, our bigger enemy is, where are those taxes going? We need accountability. And that's why I say the dialogue is accountability, integrity, authenticity, transparency, and proper governance. If we need to give taxes, we need to be assured that the government will use those taxes for the right reasons, it should be appropriately used. Those taxes should be directed to the proper use. We need to understand, we need to be assured that even as much as we pay taxes, it's not the bill that we are fighting. It is a bigger animal. It is a bigger animal. We need, the dialogue should be accountability, integrity, authenticity, transparency, and proper governance. That way our system will function. And then again, we should not recycle these old people. They need to go home. They need to retire. We are not shortage of skills. We have people in these countries, in West countries, they have left Kenya. They come here. You cannot be here if you have not gone to school. You cannot be here with shortage of skills. You don't have a skill, you will sit at home and you'll have nothing. The bills will run after you. You cannot even afford to sit back without skills. You have to take yourself back to school, go get skills, come back, help the country. Same as the country should do. Let that country import back the skills. We are not shortage of skills. We need people to come back and invent that country, and it should be the young people. If we are moving forward, we should have a goal. The ultimate goal should be 2027. If we are getting there, if you're not, he should go home. But if we get to 2027, it should be young minds, and it should be fresh actions, fresh thoughts, fresh everything. Thank you very much, Kimozi.
Thank you so much for that. Actually, it's powerful points you have raised, and I really like that umeguzia almost everything tunaongelea hapa. And I need such speakers, like, we need to talk about such facts. We need, mali nimependa sana, it's about meritocracy, the skills. Get skills, kauna skills, kainja government, kainja civil service, kainja PSC, TSC, like, just stay home. EPRA is infiltrated by people who don't have a good certificate, doesn't have necessary skills. Places like Kengen, watu wamejudge wanajuana. Places like all these parastatals of Kenya, people wamejazana and they don't have skills. That's why they are collapsing. The other day I was saying NIS has a politician's kids. That's why it's collapsing. They don't have information. So what I'm trying to say, raise such points like guzia facts kama meritocracy. Tuna export people who have skills waende wafanyie wazungu kazi instead of utilizing them in Kenya. That's brain drain. We shouldn't be encouraging brain drain, because I know people who can make very important things, very important decisions in Kenya to change, to make our nation move forward. So what I can really instill, or I can say, I need such speakers who can raise very valid points for our country. This is what we are fighting for. tax accountability, meritocracy, justice. We are fighting for, because I see people relenting, and we have people who are killed, their lives were lost for no reason. We should not relent. The fight is still on. Like, I want people who talk because they have experienced it. I have experienced the want for exploitation of labor. I want person to talk about the experience because she or he or they have been denied a job because of nepotism or corruption. We should talk about such issues. That's why we are saying RUTO must go, because he has lied to us. He told us he will come and correct this, and he hasn't corrected. Look at the police who was shooting the person yesterday on live camera. He knows nothing can be done. That Isaiah Duma or something, he knows nothing can be done to me. I can shoot even the camera person. Nothing. We should, and I'm really insisting on this because kama umetoka nje ya Kenya, utarealize systems work, democracies work. Like hawezi tishiwa just for speaking against your leaders. Leaders are very accountable. Kitu kiasi, ameresign. Kitu kiasi, ameresign. Why are Kenyan leaders wanakatalia kiti? Ni nini bill Ruto alikatalia sana until watu wamemalizwa? Mbona amekatalia kitu hadi watu wauawe? Why? We should be raising such pertinent issues, such important issues. Thank you. Next speaker. I can see Jelani, I can see Davis, I can see one of you can raise a point. Preferably a gentleman, then a lady.
Okay. Kimuzi unanisikia?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, let me go. Good evening, guys. First of all, let me start by sending my respects and condolences to the fallen and prayers to their families. Also, prayers and best wishes to the injured in the hospitals. Wherever they are, mwenye anawatembelea, kindly let them know that we think about them and we pray for them, even the families of the fallen soldiers. I'll be brief. I'll tie myself to 4 minutes. I'll try to tie myself to 4 minutes. So the first point that I want to raise is one is I feel like the energy is being lost. I don't know why. We are supposed to be getting more anger. We're supposed to be more angrier than how we were 2 weeks ago. They have killed at least the recorded one, the official recorded ones claim to be 20 plus, but we all know that these numbers in Githurai and in Rongai, we know numbers are more than those. So the energy should be everyone should be getting angrier. Yeah, these were comrades that we were working with. Some people are reporting that they experienced death next to them. So we should be getting more angry. I don't know why the energy is losing. There's no relenting at this point. There are people who've put everything. There's nothing to go back to. So if this doesn't work, if Ruto doesn't leave, kuna watu wameweka all their all in this war. So I think with all due respect, let's push. When you wanaweza, let's push. Even if itafika point where soldiers get tired, we've seen it, yeah, and we respect them. We respect those who get tired on the way, but those who know what they are fighting for, those who've lost due to the government poor management, let's keep on fighting. Point number 2 is the unity. Unity is key. Tumeanza kurushiana mikono, tumeanza point fingers, it's us actually. This thing we are claiming that they are picking leaders for us, but it's us who are making these leaders. Yeah, mtu akisema kitu, all of a sudden these guys don't claim to be the spokesperson of Genz Z, but the moment they go and say something, mtu amesema amechoka, mtu amesema don't do this, then we all of a sudden start attacking that person as if he's speaking or she's speaking for us. I think it's us who are giving them the power to do so. If someone personally claims he's tired or she's tired or she's not going to work, she's not going to march, or he's not going to march with us, it's not upon us kwanza kumsomea manini. Let them be sisi tuendelee na march, because the moment we start fighting them, it sounds as if they were our leaders and now they are turning their back on us. So Ikitu, this thing is leaderless, tribeless, and fearless. The fact that it's leaderless, we're not supposed to be pointing fingers. We don't have a structure yet, so we can't be blaming anyone for branching off the course. We just try to sway them back in. Ikitu, we need as many people as we can. So Musaki akisway away, we try to bring them back. We don't fight them. That part naona ni kama, and it's what has been destroying us, I think, for the past 2 days. We've been focusing on fighting each other for the past 2 days. I think that one needs to change. Point 3. What do we do next? Because this space, I think it's about the way forward. For me, I think we have a bigger goal, which is RUTO must go, and this we must every single time tukiwa street, whether tumeenda ku light candles for our fallen soldiers. This one must always be passed across every time tukiwa TL. Ukiboeka midnight, mimi namkanga midnight, nasikianga mbu imepita nikiamka nasema RUTO must go. This thing RUTO must go has to be the motivate the comrades. Milestones zenye mimi naweza suggest, occupy churches. This should be an every Sunday milestone. Every Sunday we just need new posters so that they keep the thing lively. I've seen Mobili shared a poster which is quite good. I think every Sunday inafai kuwa to a standard. Every Sunday we are doing occupy churches, and we occupy churches with a purpose. Hakuna politician anaongea kwa church. We are not violent. We can allow them to get in and worship, but hakuna mtu anapatiwa platform kuongea. We can have then now I think we are all agreeing that IEBC is the center of our movement. Like the way forward for us is through IEBC. I think our next push to Prezo, our next push to RUTO should be constitute IEBC. I don't know if that can be a hashtag on its own, and this needs to be happen as soon as next week. Constitute IEBC, because the IEBC hapo wametushikilia vizuri sana. It's like they are holding us with the balls. Yeah, we can't do anything to our MPs unless we frustrate them. Na tunaona ni kama pia wana grow resilience, and they have more resources than we do. As all we have is the power of unity. Yeah, they have the resources. Wanaweza manipulate. You've seen what they have tried to infiltrate us, and in some ways they're succeeding because they have the resources. All we have is the unity. So the MPs fighting them, I think IBC were to choke. They have choked us without the IBC. So I think we need to have the IBC, and this one we need to push RUTO to constitute IBC as soon. Hata kama next week tunaweza anza or next week, but when we need to push the same way we pushed him to reject the IBC, the finance bill, we need to push him akuje nje aseme tomorrow. This is, I don't know the process that is required to do so, but we need him to come. We need to push him the same way we pushed him for finance bill. Akuje nje aseme tomorrow we are constituting the IBC. Ama I've done this to make sure the IBC exists, or whatever he needs to do. We need that IBC. Immediately we have the IBC to answer the processes, the usual processes. So everyone in their own constituency will be dealing with their MP. I think with the IBC in place, everyone is tired of these fuckers. Everyone is tired of these fuckers. So the moment we have the IBC, everyone will do the needful wherever they will be. Then these milestones, we need to be setting them. The next milestone would be sack the entire cabinet. We push mpaka RUTO akuje aseme amechuja Linturi, amechuja Kindiki, ameifagia yote. This milestone, then that pressure, when that pressure builds up, then of course the RUTO must go must always be running in the background. Tunaweza mpush hivyo mpaka ago. Although it's a long shot for RUTO to go, but we can push him with those small milestones. We don't give him a breathing space. We don't even allow him to work. It's pressure under pressure under pressure. At a figure point, even the pressure, the surrounding pressure, the international bodies, wata succumb to the pressure, because now we won't be giving him space to do his dirty business. Yeah. So we need to set up those small milestones. Then another thing is Occupy Parliament should not end today. Every time these fuckers wanna meet, they go to Parliament and do a stupid thing. We occupy Parliament. I know there are so many stories about what happened the other day about Waseku invade parliament. Personally, I think that was that was not the plan. The plan was to go to march at the to protest to inja parliament, but because of the police force polisi wanavuzushiana na sisi, they prompt people to get into parliament. I don't think that was the plan. The plan was just to march to parliament to protest hapo, but now the fujo ya polisi, they're trying to prevent us our rights. Marching outside the parliament is not a bad thing, but sir, hiyo vita tu yao. So every time these fuckers do something stupid in parliament, we march there. Every time they do something stupid, we march there. It shouldn't die from the previous time. So my point is, we need these small milestones that will help keep us going, to show that we are getting into the president's nerves. Every time we wake up, tunasema one, occupy the churches, no platform politician, including RUTO. Two, constitute the IBC, and this should be happening as soon as next week, because we need these fuckers gone, all of them. And people are in the constituency levels, everyone is angry at them. So the moment we have the IBC, trust me, these fuckers, you'll see people collecting signature and motion and are submitting them to IBC. Now the process will start. Then we have the sack the cabinets. These milestones will keep us going. These milestones will keep us going, and then we might achieve the big goal of RUTO going. Either way, mimi najua RUTO anaenda. Kama si sahi 2027, but anaenda regardless of the time, but he will go home. Otherwise, keep strong. The unity is more important. All we have is the unity. These people have the resources. All we have is the unity. So always have that in mind. So before tukane mse because I may change course, always know that we need them on our side. If you can convince them if they have been swayed away, if you can convince them to come back, I think it's much better than kumtukana and then he moves out. We all have followers. Hata kama ni watu, even if you have 10 followers, there are 2 out of them wenye wanakuaminia. So if people abuse you, you move with all your 2 followers, yeah? And all we need is to bring this together. So even those watu wana sway away, if we can bring them back, I think it's better than kuanza kutukanana, because all it does is break our unity. Otherwise, comrades, pamoja, and we do all we can to push umse away. Thanks.
Do I go next?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kimuzi, for this opportunity. Mimi, to be honest, haven't been doing very well emotionally. Is it murders and people dying, especially the kid who had bullets in his back. Iyo kitu nashindwa hata kulala. I'm just unable to process how someone is ready to even kill kids. And frankly, hata venye, I think it was kina Cairo, I don't know nani alianza hiyo story ya dialogue. I'm shaking. Whew. I don't know who started that story for dialogue on the timeline. And I'll be honest, I had started considering it. I started being like, okay, maybe a conversation can be had. Maybe there's a different way for us to get what we want. But then when I saw the kid with the bullets, like the back just full of bullets, and then I heard what was going on in Rongai yesterday, I don't think there's any conversation that can be had with these people. I genuinely, I might be wrong, but I don't think there's any conversation that can be had. And sasa, naogopa ata kusema my views or to be very charged up for this protest, because there's another very dangerous narrative that's come to the timeline. And it's been there for a long time. I know it's been there for a long time because I have friends who are older than me who have gone through the same thing, where Kenyans act as though Kenyans living in diaspora are less Kenyans, where people act as though because you don't live in Kenya, you shouldn't have a say and you shouldn't be on the table and you shouldn't have an opinion and you shouldn't participate in anything. That is why part of both teams, both Azimio and NKK, when they were campaigning, one of the things on the agenda was to make diaspora a county on its own, because diaspora people have always been shunned people only know to reach out to us when they want money. All right, when someone wants money, when they want us to contribute to the cause, saa hiyo ndio watu wanakumbuka watu wa diaspora wanakuanga na pesa. So tupeane pesa lakini tusipeane maoni. So me, I've been afraid because I'm like, I might say something and then people say I'm saying this from the safety of my home in DC. But let me tell you something. Diaspora people have brothers, have sisters, have parents, have godchildren, have nieces, nephews, friends who live in Kenya. So when anything happens to that group of people, it directly affects wherever you are. I cannot be at peace if my friend's child is sick in Nairobi. Why will I not be at peace? Because that friend doesn't have pesa ya kupeleka mtoto hospitali. So lazima atuweke sisi wote kwa WhatsApp group tuchange. If somebody dies, a parent dies or something happens, money is needed. Tena sitakuwa na amani. If my brother, my sister, those people don't have jobs, sitakuwa na amani. If my friends, brothers and sisters don't have jobs, sitakuwa na amani. So Kenyan problems find you wherever you are. It doesn't matter whether you're in the best country on earth, the happiest country on earth, Greenland, I don't know. It doesn't matter where you are. Kenyan problems find a way of finding you wherever you are, and you cannot escape. The only thing is you're just away, and now you're in a country where things work. But the stress of things not working in Kenya inakufikia wherever you are. So this narrative for diaspora people shouldn't speak. You shouldn't be telling people what to do. You shouldn't even have an opinion. You're safe. That is bullshit. And that's one of the reasons you've seen a lot of people who are pushing this narrative, especially guys in diaspora. Guys have kept quiet. Guys are not even contributing money anymore because guys are like, Sasa, if us participating will result in this kind of vitriol and this type of nonsense, afadhali ujinyamazie, because like for me, wherever I am, I'm busy. I have a job. I have things to do. I have people to see. It's summer. I'm supposed to be outside, partying and whatever. But I'm here every day on Twitter, either holding a space, pushing a hashtag. Now still, even after I've done all, giving my money, and even after I've done all that, some wanker wants to talk about something that has nothing to do with me from 2018. Stupid people trying to bring down the cause, trying to cause division. And even if whatever is being said is true, for example, if one of the people that was vocal in this went and got paid pahali, mse akampea do. Even let's assume that happened. What does that have to do with our bigger cause? So that we keep on, as Kenyans, we keep on bringing this very dangerous narrative of attacking the people who are using all their energy. And this thing is draining. Emotionally, it's draining. Hakuna mtu anakaa hapa amefurahi sana kila siku kuretweet someone has died, someone is missing, appropriations bill has been passed. No one is happy. That shit is draining as fuck. And if we don't get our shit together and stand united, and we keep attacking people, because me, I don't fucking care if Hanifa was paid or if Boni was paid or if Khalif was paid. I don't fucking care. If they wake up and they push my hashtag and they talk about our issues and they articulate them, I don't fucking care. If Khalif uses this opportunity to brand himself and go on the media and talk about our issues and azunguke tu akiongea zile mambo zinafanya ye kama hiyo ndio inamfurahisha, if that is his form of protest, for me I'll not sit there and attack him. Why? Because we have a bigger picture. The bigger picture is Ruto must go. That is our bigger picture. Whether Jelani worked for Ruto 2 years ago, whether she worked for whatever happened 5 years ago, it doesn't matter. Whatever happened last week even doesn't matter. If someone stepped on you, doesn't matter. What is the goal today? The goal today is we are sending home the yes MPs and Ruto needs to go. Those are the goals. Can we just focus? Hizi kesi zote mnataka kuleta, zileteni kama tumewin.
Jelani. But you can't focus with the snakes in the room. You should declare your stand, to be very precise. Like you should declare your stand from the.
My stand is personally,
I supported Ruto like you, but there is no way I'll ever support Ruto. You see, like people should not use this movement to promote their business or to promote their I don't know what else. They should use this platform to promote the real agenda, which is RUTO must go, right?
Yes,
That someone
absolutely,
died for.
absolutely. And for me, I'm just against the divisiveness that's been there. I think we all need to, because to be honest, if we all start producing receipts at Isijui who was paying, we're going to lose. We're going to lose for real. We're going to lose. So that's one of the things that's been really sitting heavily on me. The number two thing I heard you say, which was very important, I think it was you, Kimuzi, and the other lady who spoke before me, is when you live abroad, you realize how fucked up Kenyan leaders are. You know, I was telling my classmates this thing about the watches, the way these people are wearing $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 watches. You should have seen the looks on these people's faces, because nobody here wears that kind of watch, especially like a public servant. Unheard of. And the day you buy a watch like that, that's the day you're landing in prison. They will find out where you got the money. You will literally be jailed that same day. Even the way David Ndii speaks to people on this app, if you spoke like that to anybody as a public servant, any of these politicians, the way they have kiburi, if you spoke like that in America to anybody, the next day you'll be out of a job. And I don't even think it's just America, even the UK, even just anywhere that's not Kenya, just abroad, if you behave like that in the West, you'll go home. So when you live abroad, you start to realize, fuck, we could do better. We could do better at home. And it charges you up. And si ati hata unataka ku-incite watu, ni kukasirika. Unakuanga tu umekasirika. Like it really makes you boil with anger when you see what is happening at home. Me personally, the deaths have really shaken me. I'm more angry than I ever was. I'm not even sleeping. My friends have been checking on me. I don't want to relent. I don't want us to lose steam. Let us push forward. Let us move forward. Kama kuna mtu anasikia nimemkosea with my remarks and what I've been saying, tafadhali, me was not saying those things for myself. I was saying them for our greater cause. So if there's somebody mwenye anasikia kabisa nilimkosea, nimesema pole, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. I don't think any of us has ever been in a revolution before. None of us. There are no rules of engagement. Hakuna pahali kuna book of etiquette, what you can and you can't say. I just want our message to be heard. And if I offended you with how I put out what I wanted to say, I am sorry. Okay? I am sorry. Let's move forward. Let's stand united. Let's work together. RUTO must go. Totikagwagwe. Let us not give up. Let us not lose.
Bags millions every year from conference facilities and accommodations paid for by government institutions.
Okay.
Amaco Insurance that led me to this whole article. Bags millions every year from tenders to offer insurance cover for several counties and government institutions. The last one, Martini Limited, millions bagged from leasing of at least 170 apartments to police services. I'm not refuting the fact that the government probably needs these services, but the problem is the money is coming out of my pocket. The money is coming out of your pocket. So I have the right to question where the money is going. It's coming out of my pocket, it's coming out of your pocket to go and pay people who are closely affiliated to the government, which makes it a bit easier for them to get a hold of these tenders. As the taxes go high, we have not seen any progress. The taxes did not start going high this year. They started last year. We have not seen any progress.
And that's something they will never allow. Even if, we'll keep going, we'll keep going, fighting the one hashtag, which is very important. But we need also to realize there will always be sabotage by these politicians, because the moment they are peaceful protest, it's a nightmare for them. And I agree with the lady who said we really need to push the one hashtag as the mother of everything, and have like an itemized thing of what we need, so that even if Caliph is going to talk on the radio, as long as he's highlighting some of our agendas, we are still on course. He's still giving the whole movement the momentum we need. The momentum will be there no matter someone proclaim self-leadership and everything and all those kind of bullshit. So we really need that, like the mother, RUTO must go, and then we really need an itemized item of what we really need to achieve, so that at least no matter the period it takes, we already have a clear plan. So if you go and talk on radio at least they will always, as long as you're talking within the documentation, we come as a space together. At least that will give us momentum to keep going. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you. We hear you. Lady.
I'm going to go now, please, because I've been waiting for quite a while, if that's okay.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry for
No, that's fine. And I'm sorry to interrupt. I think it was Vincent who wanted to speak. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I realized if I didn't jump in. Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I hope you can hear me clearly, because just let me know if you can't. Na in a drop ikikuja. Okay, thanks.
Don't worry.
First, I really want to just, my utmost and deepest sincere condolences to the, family, friends, loved ones of our fallen heroes. I think it's really important we hold space for them. So just wanted to put that out there. And also the people in hospital, those who are still nursing injuries, some minor, some major. I mean, those families are also very affected. So just wanted to really, my heart goes out to them. But I'll focus on giving some practical suggestions that I've been thinking about throughout this week in line with the topic of this space, which is about the way forward, especially after losing our heroes, our fallen heroes. So first of all, I think one thing we must do, which I think many people are alluding to in many ways, is that we need to keep these people in our collective consciousness. What do I mean? Kenyans tunakwanga na shida ya kusahau sana. And that's why every election year, we regurgitate the same old bad politicians. And so if we don't keep these people's names, faces, images in people's collective consciousness, very soon they might be forgotten. And there are practical ways we can do that. Some people have suggested a vigil. I think that's a good idea. I saw a poster of like activities or actions for the next week. I think there was one around printing their images and posting them like all around, whether it's in the streets or whatever. I really agree with that kind of idea. Let's tweet and retweet their names, their images. Use the hashtag, say their names, that kind of thing. I've been doing that a lot. That, say their names. Hashtag lest we forget. Hashtag say their names. Because I just think otherwise, I mean, even these churches, this thing of occupying churches, I think one thing we can compel churches to do, hold minutes of silence for them, and not just minutes of silence. As that is happening, those screens zenye zinakwanga kwa church zikionyesha hymn number, sijui the hymn, sijui what, let them be showing images of our fallen heroes so that this thing remains in our collective consciousness. We don't forget, because this will be something that will now also push us. And just to remember, blood was spilled. People were lost. People died. Let's keep that in our consciousness. And that's that. Number two, and I will respond to, there's a gentleman who spoke, and I completely hear where he was coming from. People have died. Why aren't people angry enough? Why is the energy going down? Really hear you. I also hear you when you say we should keep relenting. I really hear that. But the truth is this. If you look at movements that have existed long before us, for example, the anti-racism movements or, those kinds of things, healing and restoration goes hand in hand with activism. Why? Because activism is tiring. And we are humans. People get depleted. People's energies get depleted. Right now, in addition to just the general depletion of energy, there is so much heaviness in people's hearts. Heartbreak, pain, anger. And when I came into the space, there was a lady saying how she's been a mental wreck. People's mental health has been affected. People cannot give what they don't have. Self-care is important. And part of, healing and restoration is also about our self-care. So my challenge to you guys who've been excellent at organizing these spaces, and maze kudos to you guys, you've been doing such a great job, is can we also be holding spaces, regular spaces for healing and restoration? And there are frameworks that already exists, like healing justice frameworks, what. It's not my area of expertise, but I know movements that have gone before us have frameworks that can provide us with this kind of healing and restoration, which then re-energizes us, keeps us replenished, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. We need our energy to be sustained. But it will not be sustained if it's all the time rage. People must give, people must be angry, because we are human. Guys will get depleted, and that's just a fact. So please, Akina Kimuzi and company, I hope I said your name correct, but let's please just try and organize some spaces that focus on not even venting. We know the problems, and we can have spaces for venting and reiterating the problem, but let's also just have spaces that are about holding space for our healing and restoration. And by the way, healing, restoration, and rest is also a form of resistance. Let's not forget that. That is also resistance. So we can be energetic so that we can, fight the long fight, basically. That was my second point. Third point, I think it's very important for us to have a very serious discussion about what next after RUTO must go. Because right now, fully on board with the thing of pushing RUTO must go, but and then, because what history has shown us from other movements, look at the Arab Spring, for example. If you don't have clear steps about what next, either the country will go into anarchy or we will end up in a far worse position than we are in now, with worse leaders, more oppressive regimes, etc. And you see mimi ninasema, the history is there. We can look at the Arab Spring is a very good example, for example. So I think even as we push the RUTO must go, we have to have very serious discussions about, and then, so that we don't find ourselves in the situations we've seen other countries in. Let's really think carefully and strategically. And there are people who can advise us. Like we've got LSK. There are so many people who can advise us. Okay, in practice, to say Ruto resign, atakamani next week, what does that really mean in practice? Like, what does that look like? How do we make sure our country doesn't degenerate into anarchy? How do we make sure we don't end up with another more oppressive regime? So we need to have serious discussions about what next after RUTO must go. And also let's push, I really like this idea of pushing things like recalling our MPs. Reconstitution of IBC. Why hasn't IBC been reconstituted mpaka wa leo? Kwa nini? Is it deliberate? And why? Can we also push those practical things? Reconstitute IBC, recall your MPs, etc. It's okay for us to all be in agreement about RUTO must go. I'm not refusing, but there are other things we can do, like recalling our MPs, ensuring that IBC is reconstituted soon. My second last point, to the ladies in the diaspora, completely hear you, and your anger is valid in many ways. However, let's not also romanticize leaders from the West. I have lived in those countries for a long time, nearly a decade. I've been back home for the last 15 years. The reason those leaders work well is because systems work. It's not because they're so righteous or they're so good or they're better people than our African leaders. It's because systems work. And they know they can't get away with some of the crap we see our leaders getting away with because huko hawezi. So si ati ni kwa sababu ni watu wazuri sana. So let's also push this narrative of let our systems work. If systems work, leaders will also behave well. If systems do not work, that is why they can get away with anything they want to get away with. It's not that those people are better human beings than us. They are not. They're just as corrupt. They're just as bad. But they know they can't get away with some of the crap that our leaders get away with. Finally, please, Wase, Jana, it broke my heart to see how well divide and conquer worked. Let's maintain the unity. It is normal to have disagreements. Hata kwa familia, wacha ati kwa movement kwenye hata tujuani. Even with your families, your siblings, your spouses, your partners, you will disagree, you will argue. But no, it doesn't mean you throw them under the bus, sijui this, sijui what. No, please. Divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks of the book or whatever you say. Even Wakoloni used it on us. And that's why we even have so many ethnic divisions in our country. Let us resist divide and conquer. Let us stay united. We can disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, but let's not allow that to divide us. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I will now be quiet. Asante.
Hi, Kamuzi, may I speak now? May I speak?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, you can go on. All yet, you can be called till you big something a little bit.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. I'll invite. Okay, sir.
There's a few things I'd like to discuss. One is to put this in a global context and in a global perspective. And the second, to get back on topic and propose a way forward that I've put on a Twitter comment of Kamuzu. So first, in terms of the global perspective, understand who is fucking us, okay? Now, I think people are becoming aware of the IMF. The IMF came out of 1944, out of the Bretton Woods Conference, where the US was playing a major role after World War II. The IMF, the largest shareholder of the IMF is the US and the World Bank, right? They own both of them pretty much. So the policies that they come out of there are basically from the US military industrial complex, okay? And this is where RUTO has been sucked in and is an agent of destruction for them. Now, another thing that's important about the global perspective is that the US is done. They are cooked, they are finished. BRICS will destroy them. BRICS, once they go off the petrodollar, the US is fucked beyond all recognition, and they know it. And that's why they're either going to go nuclear and push World War III, or they're going to have to back down, admit their corruption, admit their mistakes. They've killed 20 million people since World War II. They've destroyed 35 countries. You know, let's not make Kenya next. Okay, so let's hold that perspective. Now, in terms of the people from the diaspora that have spoken, the Westminster system is screwed. I was born in Australia, okay, and the woman that spoke there about how lovely it is there or whatever, they're not. They're just as corrupt, if not worse. You have an MP like Daniel Andrews that earns $150,000 a year, and somehow, at the end of his career, leaves politics and is worth over $100 million. Okay, they're just as bad, if not worse, because they hide it much better. Now, in terms of the way forward, I mentioned the Westminster system is screwed all around the world. Okay, it's failed every single time. What we need is to fully decentralise government. And what I mean by that, we should have direct democracy, the same system as, say, Switzerland has. Citizens vote on every major decision, and there's no need for so many representatives. We should have decentralised decision-making. It should be distributed across the local councils. There's 47 counties. And we should reduce the size of the federal system. Everything needs to be on blockchain technology, okay? So it's transparent, it's immutable, and it's decentralized. So all votes are recorded. Every law and every government action needs to be on the blockchain, so it's publicly visible. The whole system needs to be run by smart contracts to automate all the execution of government functions and services. What I'm discussing is a new paradigm. The old paradigm does not work. We need community governments, we need accountability, and we need to remove corruption. So what I'm proposing is that I'm in the blockchain industry. I've been in IT for 25 years. I've probably built most of the systems for major banks all around the world. I've stopped doing that because I know exactly how corrupt they are, because their databases are on my systems. And I've changed my ways. I'm not helping these fuckers anymore, and I've moved to a decentralized world, and I'm working to do things like that at the moment. Now, what I'm proposing is, if you're a crypto guy, if you're an IT guy, if you're a lawyer, if you're a policy writer, please comment on my Twitter. I suggest that we put forward a Twitter space to get some policies together to redesign the framework. The only place in the world that this can happen is Kenya. Why? Because of your demographic. The demographic we have is over 60% of the population is between 90 and 30, and they understand the technology. The technology is available. It's now. The rest of the world is terrified of it. The banks have been terrified of it for decades, and it's easily implemented. It will take time. But I mean, by the time RUTO gets out, and hopefully it gets out tomorrow, but it looks as though maybe 2027, we can put forward these systems, and as a group, with no leader, introduce accountability via technology that can never be corrupted, and we can design this framework together. So please join me. I'm willing to spend as much time as I can to facilitate it. And I know that there's plenty of people in Kenya that have the capability. It's very simple to implement, and I want to do this. I want to create a decentralized voting system. We need to implement these smart contracts and design this framework. It's not hard. That's a piece that